Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to today's guest. We have Tracy, who is down in Georgia. I say down, even though I'm at the southernmost point of the United States in Florida. So technically she's up from me, but she's in Georgia. And Tracy's a therapeutic coach. And I discovered her Instagram page just not too long ago and immediately saw how much she enjoys sharing love and light with her audience and the people that she is inspired to impact. And today we're gonna have a fun conversation and share some of that with you guys here. So without further ado from me, I want to introduce you guys to Tracy. And if you could share with the audience who you are, what you do, why you do it, so they could be more familiar with you.
Well, my name is Tracy. I go by the Therapeutic coach. It's just a fun little term that I coined, and it blends my mental health profession with life coaching. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what I do. My mission and my goal is to just enlighten. My population would be women, but I tend to meet and greet both men and women. And my mission is just to encourage and to help facilitate growth in the lives of the people I come in contact with.
I love that. And that was so apparent when I was on your Instagram page. And how did that kind of come about for you? Were you someone that, you had an awakening of your own at a certain time of life, or did someone introduce you to a speaker? Or was it something that since childhood you've just been evolving? How did it get to the point where, okay, you said, I want to take these things that I've become aware of and share it with people and help them in their lives?
Well, actually, no, I have a very interesting background. So pretty much like you said, ever since I've been a child, I've always been a very intuitive child, a child who was drawn to the deeper things. I was never and am not to this day a surface type person. I'm a person that likes to look and talk and find out and understand people, that type of thing. And so my journey, I'm eclectic. So I went to school, did the whole thing, went to college, came out of college, graduated undergrad, and I decided I wanted to do hair. So I became a master cosmetologist. My mother had a fit. She was like, well, how is it that you get 2 bachelor's degrees just to come out to want to do hair? But who I am is someone that goes after my bliss. I go after the things what I feel in my spirit to do. So that was one of the things that I did. While I was doing that, while I had a career in the beauty industry, I began to notice that my clients were only coming to me to really talk and to get advice and that type of thing. And I think I had an aha moment. I was like, instead of them getting advice for free, let me go back to school and get legit. So I went back to school, got my master's in mental health counseling, and it sort of sprouted from there. Also, I've had background in ministry. I'm a licensed minister, although I do not adhere to any type of religion, or I would like to say that I'm more spiritual minded than anything, but that's my background. So like I said, it's just an eclectic ball of the journey that I've been through up to this point that sort of pointed to, this is what I would like to do with my life. Just really be who I am, who I've always been, and just make a career out of it, if that makes sense.
I love it. It makes total sense. And I want to point out to the audience something that Tracy just shared that I love. And because when she was just describing her journey, I didn't hear anything, which I love so much and encourage everybody out there listening. I didn't hear any of, this is what she felt she should do or was responsible to do or had to do. She said she's following her bliss, which
absolutely
is always, there's 7.7 billion of us on this planet, and all of us have such unique life experiences and different things that we're inspired to do while we're here. And the easiest way to go on that journey and to discover that for ourselves, the life experience is going to give us that clearer picture, but there'll
absolutely.
be something, that's going to feel more exciting, more blissful, which is one of my favorite words, if not my favorite word in the English language. than any other option. And, you know, it
Yeah.
might not always be the most blissful, but for right now, if you're feeling something out there and it does, you know, you can label it as exciting or even take it a step further, bliss.
Absolutely.
Great, great idea to see what's there for you.
Absolutely. It's more, one thing that I've noticed in my 40 years of living, 40 plus years of living, is that the path is led by ease. It's led by that flow. You know, anytime where I feel like I'm pushing, or I'm trying to make something happen, or it's coming from my head because it's a good idea, it never works out. So anytime that I go after that, which I can flow with, which is most authentic to me, regardless of if anybody else agrees with it, if they understand it. When I am going after my most authentic, being my most authentic self, and going after the things that resonates with me, everything always works out. So yeah, so that's just, I mean, I can't say that it's because I found this key to living, but it's just easy. Just go after the things that's most easy and less resistant, you know?
Absolutely. Such great advice. And I normally say this at least one time in the episode, and I think this episode I might say it multiple times, but if you spaced on anything that Tracy just said, rewind and re-listen to that, because it's so true. Like the things that are really, you know, good for us right now to be participating in or put our energy in, are just in the flow. They're very easy. It doesn't have to be.
Absolutely.
I think there's a misnomer in society that everything has to be so tough and such a struggle, and like you got to grind it out and make it happen and fight through it. And it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, no, it does not resonate. You know, and there are different individuals. Everybody has different personalities, but for me and my personality, and again, let me just preface it by this: I can't compare my life to anyone else, because what's easy for me may not be easy for someone else. You know, and what's a grind for me may be easy for someone else. So that's where we have to honor each other's personal journey. Yet I would almost put a little money on whatever tends to be the flow for you. If you go after that, that's where you're going to find success. That's where you're going to find that peace that allows you to move forward and toward whatever goal that you do have.
Such great advice. Such
Yeah.
great advice. I love that so much. And
Yeah.
again, the reason why I love sharing a planet with 7.7 billion people is because we don't all have the same direction that we're going to go. We all have different life experiences. Which, for you out there listening, if you right now maybe are unclear about, you know, which direction or what feels, you know, like most exciting, or, you know, where you want to go, just live more life, experience more life. And
Yeah.
that's going
Yeah.
to, you know, with every life experience, there may be some things where you're like, ooh, I really didn't enjoy that. I'd rather have this as my direction. And then you'll discover some things where you're like, yes, this feels really good. And, you know, you can see that out and keep flowing with that.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I
That's,
love everything
yeah.
you said. That's awesome. Well, what are you, at the time of this recording, I'm curious, like we're at the end of 2019 going into 2020. What are you excited about right now as far as anything that you're creating, or things that are on the horizon for you, or what you're doing right now? What's going on in the world of Tracy?
Well, I'm excited just to be excited, because because you know, 2019, it was a tough one. And I believe there's a lot of people that can agree. It was a challenge, and I think it was a challenge for me because I know for me personally, it attacked a lot of those last remainder of belief systems that was sort of holding me back from actually reaching the level that I'm breaking through right now. So that was the challenge of overcoming just different belief systems that I still had going on, and getting my health in check, and you know, allowing myself to relax and not be so. I think I got caught up in, and I think a lot of people can resonate with this. I think I got caught up in trying to figure it out and trying to make something happen and work it, and okay, and if I'm just if I sit back and just trust the path, I feel like I'm not doing anything. So I had to overcome that. And the way that I overcame that is because the more I tried to make it work, it just didn't happen. So it just, by default, I had to relax and I had to just watch and wait and let things come together. So I'm excited about 2020 because I do have goals, but I don't tend to get caught up in the goals because the flow is just that, just the flow into what is the universe that God has prepared, that it has, already out there. And so I'm just excited about the fact that I'm easy now, and I know that I'm in that space where I'm actually going to that without a whole lot of restraint, without a whole lot of fight. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the connections that I'm making, and you and other people that I've come in contact with. Excited to put together a program for women who are struggling with their weight, and it's not just a diet program, because I know for me, I have been through countless diets and gaining, regaining, and all of that stuff. But what I've learned is if you don't handle those mindsets and tackle the things that really are keeping you in the same state, without that being worked on, you're going to constantly go back and forth. So anyway, I'm excited about putting that out there and helping the women that I'm called to. And I'm just in general excited for what the year is going to bring. I'm just excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I sense from you is that you're not, even though, and I say this a lot, it's okay for any of us to have, more than okay, we're going to have, goals and dreams and things that we want to accomplish.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, knowing that the only moment promised to any of us is right here and now. And
yes.
I hear a piece from you of just being, you're content with where you are and what's evolving, and things are evolving, and you're not worried about how they're going to evolve or when they're going to evolve or exactly all the fine details, which I've been there, and I'm sure all of us have been there, where we're trying to make things happen and figure things out before things are ready to be figured out. There's
right.
Some life that needs to be lived, some clarity that
yes.
needs to be had before we
absolutely
can, feel strongly about a direction. And I want to encourage the audience. There's been times in my life, and I can think of many, where it didn't seem like I was doing much. Like I wasn't inspired to go full force in any direction at that moment. And I'm thankful that I have the awareness to be okay with just relaxing and just enjoying life a little bit. Maybe, I live here in Miami. So there's been times where you guys on social media have seen me out at the beach many days in a row. It's just because I just wanted to enjoy life. I knew that the moment was all that I had, and there wasn't anything that I was super inspired to be, creating.
Absolutely.
There's other times where it could be beautiful days in a row, and I'm just excited to be inside doing stuff, creating, doing all this stuff. So it's all
absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. You say the beach, and I see your videos, and I'm going, yes, because that's where I sort of retreat to. It takes me about 3 hours to get to my closest beach that I like, Myrtle Beach. But I will get in the car and just drive, because it's something about that water, that ebb and flow of the sound of the waves. It just sort of centers me. But I'm going to tell you one thing for sure, and one thing for certain. I am better for anyone that I come in contact with when I have taken that time for myself to just breathe and just to be. Anytime I meet with clients, the first thing that I teach them to do is let's breathe together. Let's breathe. Let's take in this space together, and let's settle our minds, all of these thoughts that we have. Let's just be, because that's where the power is. That's where the potency is, who we are, the I ams that we are. We can just be. Things tend to come together instead of us striving to make things happen, because there's nothing. Our minds are tools. Our minds is a beautiful tool, but that the mind is not the leader. We are the leaders, and we guide. And the only way that we can guide our lives is if we just learn to just sit and be with who we are, and be okay with who we are and what we're going through and all of that good stuff, because life is beautiful. It's a beautiful mess. It's a beautiful contradiction at times, but if we let it, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. And,
Yeah.
even the challenging times are
Absolutely.
beautiful, because without them, none of us would be on the path that we're on right now. And,
Absolutely.
if life was all unicorns and fairy tales and rainbows, we really wouldn't create anything. Like,
Come on
not,
now.
nothing that we
Yeah.
see around us, in the world would exist, because if everything was, a fairy tale and no challenges, like, I'm sitting on a chair right now because at some point in human history, people got tired of standing or sitting on the ground. So it's like, we need chairs. And they've
Absolutely.
evolved. So that will be the case with everything that is created while we're here. It'll arise because at some point, a group of humans, or a human, most likely a group, said we want something that is different than what is. And, we're
Yeah.
excited to create it, even though we might not know exactly how, when, where, who's going to be involved. We just know that this is the vision that we have, and we're going to allow the synchronicities of life to unfold when.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
love it.
Creation, like, yeah, 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 yeah.
That's what we're here for. I love it so
The
much.
creation, yeah.
I hear so much
Absolutely.
peace from you, Tracy, which I love, and I encourage everybody listening just to take note of that, because for all of us, it's just a really good place for us to be. Just at peace, content with what is a really good vibe for us to be in, a really good energy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we all love to be like blissed out of our mind or euphoric. That's amazing, and there'll be times in your life where you appreciate them. Really enjoy
Yeah.
them for all that they are. And it's okay to really just be at peace and just know that, I'm, grateful for the things that I have going right now. I'm healthy. I'm able to
Yeah.
listen to a podcast or watch a podcast or,
Come
whatever it
on
is.
now.
This,
Yeah,
this time that we're
absolutely.
living is awesome.
It's not a far distance from peace to bliss. It's not a far jump. But that peace is that balance place, and that's one of the things that I focus on, just in my personal life and in my practice, showing people first through my own life, not just teaching and telling other people, but through my own life, just finding that balance. And there's a belief that you can't have balance in your life. Some people say there's no such thing as balance, but I don't believe that. I believe balance is a constant. It's a constant. You have to constantly wake up every day and find that middle ground. It's almost like, if you're familiar with the weights, and when you go, what is it, the scales, and you go and you stand up, not the modern scale, but the old scale. You stand on the scale, and then the nurse has to go down and try to find that balance of where you are on that scale. And sometimes you may find, I get to the 160, and it seems like it might be 160, but that scale is still teetering. So you got to push it a little bit to the left, and then you push it to a little bit to the right until you find that balance, which tells you exactly where you are. Well, to me, that's what life is. Every day, it's not going to be the same routine. You have to wake up finding that place where you, that I am that I say that you are. Find that place in you, and to say, okay, so what's up for today? What's going on today? What's up? And that day may lead you to go, I don't know. It might say, hey, just go outside for a minute and just chill. Go look at the birds, but in the mindset of our culture, we got to grind, we got to do, it might be, no, I got things to do. I got to check the email. No, but the inner you says, just go chill for a minute, go check the bird. The bird could lead you to one thing. A neighbor could be walking down the street, says, it's amazing how our spirit will guide us, because the spirit knows all things, in my belief. The spirit knows everything. You don't have to know. You just have to be in a place of hearing, and that balance or that peace will cause you to hear, will allow you to hear. And you don't have to take everything so seriously. And when things do come up, when challenges do come up for us, because they will. Challenges, those contrasts in life, help us to know, like you already said, helps us to know what we want, what we don't want, what works for us, what does not work for us. That way we can be more clear about what it is we want. We can chisel that vision down a little bit more. I thought I wanted this, but now I know I want that. And I would like to tell someone that's listening, I need to let you know, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay. At one point you thought this way, and another point now, it's okay to change your mind. But that's what life is. Life is giving yourself a break, that peace, that balance of just being able to just breathe with it and just live, and trust that life is for you, not against you. And a lot of times for whatever reason, we have been taught and we believe that life is happening to us, and somehow life is going against us. But if you're in a place where you feel like life is coming at you, I would just encourage you to change your perspective. Maybe it's not life coming against you. Maybe it's because you're in a boxing stance with life. But if you just learn how to just release your hands and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna flow with it, you'll begin to see things being able to just sort of be relaxed, and things come to you and happen for you, and not you trying to make things happen for it, if that makes any sense. So I just want to let somebody know that's watching, it's okay to change your mind. If it's okay if you started that business and it was going one way, because I know I've done it, and it seemed like a good idea, but did you come to a point and you realize that's just not the direction? Don't resist that and try to make it work because you told other people that this is what you were going to do. Honor yourself, honor the truth of it, and just move on and flow with whatever it is that is in your heart to do. But that's I guess if you say you feel peace from me, that's just where I am, because it's just easier that way. Life is too short to be trying to make it so hard.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing just now, because that last segment will probably be the preview clip when we post this podcast. I'm gonna probably post that and say, watch this podcast and play that clip, because you just went from peace to empowerment. Like your frequency just raised while you were sharing that. I felt it so much, and I just wanted you to keep flowing, because what Tracy started saying when she said, for instance, if you're inspired to go out and look at the birds, and you might run into a neighbor or any of the other countless synchronicities that life can bring us. If you're out there listening, notice when you have like really, exciting or good ideas come into your mind. It's going to be in a place of you're at least content or at peace, or, or beyond. Likely won't come when you're in a bad mood, when you're frustrated or worried or angry or upset or sad. Those aren't the times where we're receiving really awesome, ideas and thoughts and empowering thoughts. Like, so I love what you said is it's not that far of a jump from peace to bliss. It's really not, because of momentum. And Tracy just highlighted that while she was flowing right there, because, and these are just words and labels. So, for me to say I feel peace from Tracy, maybe that already was, empowerment or bliss or love, or whatever we want to call it. But I could feel the frequency, increasing while you were just sharing that, because your intention was to empower the listener and to uplift the listener, which is why I do the whole podcast, is to let that energy flow out to whoever's inspired to hear.
Absolutely.
And so I love what you say, because, it's very unlikely. And again, we're humans. So if you're out there and, maybe, it was a challenging day yesterday, or maybe it's been a challenging day so far today, whatever the case may be, it's unlikely that any of us are going to go from like frustrated or worried to bliss in like 2 seconds. Like that's just not really how we're wired. But we can, get to the point where we're just, okay, I'm not going to, where you're just releasing, I'm not going to try to make this happen or force this right now. Like I can just be, at ease with what's going on, right now. And then we're actually able to then receive, thoughts and ideas. And if we're taking action and doing something, then those are going to be much more effective.
Absolutely.
Than, from trying to make something happen. I see that so much in our culture, and talked about so much where, forced action is taught that it's better than no action, which I disagree.
I absolutely. And that's just through experience. And it's not that I didn't fall into it, and I tried it. One thing, I'm not going to ever talk against something unless I know firsthand. I'm going to try something at least one time within reason. But, I've tried it. Now, my nature is to flow and to just sort of go after those things that's coming from my inner being to do. But I've gotten caught up as well, especially when I decided to become an entrepreneur and believing, well, I need to look at the other entrepreneurs because they are doing what I want to do. So I got to find someone and do it like them, which is nothing wrong with having examples. But I would like to say this. Allow the universe, God, to bring those examples to us, because sometimes we can get caught up in our own way, in our own mind, and we begin to we get the example that is not in line with where we're going. What they're doing could work for them. Like I said earlier, what's easy to me and what's the flow for me may not be for them. And what they may be doing may be the flow for them. Like, I know I have a friend that's really into just always doing stuff, and it seems like she's very successful, but she's always doing something. And I would look at her and get tired, because I'm going, girl, do you just sit down, chill out? But for her, that's what she does. So it's very important to find out who you are authentically and be true to that. So your examples, let life bring your examples to you, and even then realize that example, that person is only there to allow you a certain nuggets, not for you to recreate their life, because your life is enough. You are enough for your journey. And and I was telling a client yesterday, just imagine that we all have a certain color. If you come into this world as purple, don't allow that purple to bleed out. Don't let anybody lessen or make you from a strong royal purple to a lilac. You're a purple. Be that purple. If you see other colors shining, that's beautiful. Watch how they're shining their light, doing their thing, as an encouragement for you to do it your way, the way they're doing it their way. But I think a lot of times, we hear, I know I've heard, especially growing up in the church, find someone and do it like them, fake it till you make it. And for a certain time, maybe that's okay when you're growing up and you're just lost. But there's some point in life when you have to trust that you are enough, of who you are is enough, and that if you can just just honor and trust the you that you are, everything begins to flow your way. If I have a marketing plan, or I have an idea for a business, and it's in my heart to do, I want to attract the very people that are going to be the blessing for my particular business. Everybody that has those tools or those insights for that particular vision to be manifested, I want to attract them. But if I'm not true to that vision, how are they going to know where? If the clarion call isn't sound, they're not going to know where to come. Where's the vision? Write the vision, make it plain, be true to yourself, so everything that is connected to you can flow to you. So, I'm saying all of that, but I just believe that someone needs to hear that you have to be true to your color. If you're a purple, be a purple, baby. If you're a purple in the midst of a lot of greens, that's okay. Don't feel like now I got to try to be green. They know that you're purple because of the contrast. Let them honor you by seeing who you are. A lot of times people like us, and then I'm going to let you talk, but a lot of times people like us, and when I say people like us, people who are, as my friend would call it, light workers, or people who are sensitive to other people. Some folks might say empaths, folks in the helping profession. People like us, a lot of times we get to the point where we feel misunderstood, because we're sort of weird sometimes, compared to other people, because it seemed like other people within the population seem to be doing good. They're doing the same things. They're getting caught up in the rah-rah of things, and surface conversations don't work for us, and people don't always want to talk about the deeper things. People don't want to hear about how you feel and peace. They just want to do, and so that sometimes will cause us to feel like we have to fit in, or we isolate ourselves, and so we go through that. And I get it, because I went through that for a time. But I guarantee you, if you can stand up and decide who I am is okay, it's amazing how then the connections, and you say synchronicities, those things, the people that are aligned with your life, they can find you then, because now you're standing up in your color, and you're standing up you're shining your light. Okay, now your light is you're a beacon now, and so the people that are called to you can say, oh, there she is, there he is. But you have to be courageous, and you have to honor yourself enough to say, you know what, I'm enough to be who I am, and just trust the process.
I love that. That's so good. You said so many things that inspire right there. I'm going to try to unfold three things, I think, in my mind.
Okay.
It might turn into some other things. But one thing that I want to mention, when Tracy is talking about just being our true color, which I love that. I've never heard that described that way before. But what that means to me, what that feels like to me is, if you're, at every moment we have a frequency, an energy, the vibration that we're in right here and now. And if we really allow ourselves to be that true color, that means, like how Tracy said, that we can attract people and that people can find us for whatever our vision is. That just means if you're being your true color, you're emitting your true frequency. Like that's really, if you're trying to be this person one day and this person the other day, or do this one day, your frequency is all over the place. So
all over the place.
You can't really attract anything, consistently to you to create much of anything.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing. And also for you guys out there, that because there are times where, for instance, music, there's times where, a song was a hit, and then somebody will come back and do a remix of the song, and the remix is a hit. Both are okay, and some people might say the original song is better. Some people might say the remix of the song is better. But for all of us, we could be doing the same thing, but if you're being truly who you are, like Tracy was color, it's going to come out totally different. Like you can write a book on the same topic, but it's going to be a totally different book, because my life experience, your life experience, we can't write the same thing. So it really doesn't serve any purpose for us to try to be like other people or do things like other people, because then we're just we're robbing that creation from really what we would create if we were just being 100% who we are. So, that's, and then the last thing I want to say, I look at life as just like a movie, and all of us are the main star of our own movie, and we get to choose to co-create with other co-stars, and we get to choose the geography, and we're the producer, we're the director. And so once you really just decide that you're okay and you're excited about who you are and your life experience, what that's caused you to know as far as what you desire going forward here, then you can choose like what movie would be exciting for you to see on that screen. And whatever that is, like you can live that out. Like if you can see it like in your mind, then you can go out there and create that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I encourage everybody out there to really, ask yourself, because no matter what someone believes out there, or, if you believe we've been here before, if we'll be here again, or what happens after we go, we could have tons of conversations about that. I think most can agree that I'm only going to be Noel one time. You're only going to be Tracy one time. I don't think
that's it.
The reports of multiple, we walking around multiple times in history. I haven't heard that yet. So this physical shell that we're in right now, we get to enjoy once. So ask yourself out there, what movie would you want to go to the theater and see? And
come on.
Right now, we're living anything less than that. You can start to be like, okay, I would actually want to see this if this was the movie and I'm the star, so I get to be whatever I want to be. Then that's what can play out. And you don't have to know how, you don't have to know when, you don't have to know where, who, all the details. That's what will come as you're allowing yourself to enjoy.
Absolutely. You got to know that you're worthy to have that, though. I come across a lot of people who don't even believe that they're worthy enough to have that. But you're worthy to have the type of life that you want. But you got to give yourself a break to be able to even envision that, number one. and get to the point where you get so in love with the imagination of what it is that you see, that movie. I think about the movie now that just came out, because I forget the girl's name that wrote the movie, but Queen and Slim, that just came out in the theaters. And the young lady that wrote that screenplay, she was talking about how it came about. And although it was someone who started, who had the idea for the movie, she said she took that idea and she just began to expound on it to the point where the characters became real people, and she could see it. You could close her eyes and see what the person would say and all of that good stuff. But that's how our lives have to be. We have to get to the point, first of all, understand you're worthy enough. You can do it. Who you are is good enough. All right, we got that point down. So what is it that you want to see? Start with a little spark, and just start expounding on it to the point where that vision takes on a life of its own. Because actually, that's what happens. You put enough energy into it, and with your through your imagination, it takes on a life of its own, and it begins to pull and draw you. We see that with the things and the negative things. If we focus on that one thing that somebody said to us that pissed us off, and we focus on it, and we focus on it, and we focus on now our emotions and everything, now our behaviors changing, and now somebody says something, we snap it, and it takes on a life of its own. The more energy we put towards, and then now, unfortunately, now somebody's gotten murdered, or we fighting, or it's the same thing on the flip. If you want to see something positive happen, you take that little spark, that thing that makes you feel good, and expound on it until it takes on a life of its own. And once that energy is created, it almost like, if we could imagine, it's almost like it begins to grow arms and pull in everything it needs to actually manifest for reality. It begins to pull in everything. And I want to say this too. We are not called to everybody. It's not important for everybody to like us. In this culture of likes, social media, it does not matter. I don't care who likes it. When I used to be in the church culture, and I would speak in different churches, I would tell people the amens. Sometimes you'll speak and somebody say amen. And for some people, it's encouraging, and it's usually encouraging for the speaker to hear people say amen, because it lets you know that they're with you, whatnot. But I used to say, I don't really care if I hear any amens. I just want to know that I'm impacting you. I want to know that you're not just sitting here getting titillated and you're just enjoying, you're just watching me. But I want to know, I believe that the more quiet that you are, the more I'm like in there. That's my spirit talking to your spirit, and something magical is happening. I don't want you to say anything. So don't worry about the likes and who. Just be yourself. And the more you are yourself, the more you tend to be in your authentic self, it will get potent, it'll get stronger. And like I said, you begin to, forever, whatever it is you want, that dream, that little bit of dream that you have, continue to expound on that. Let it grow legs and arms, that it begin to pull everything that's associated to it, to you. Everybody is not associated. Everybody doesn't have to be your friend. Everybody don't have to work with you. Everybody doesn't. I don't even know Noel. We just met on here, correct?
Correct.
And you say it all the time. Would you say 7 billion people, right?
7.7.
Okay, there you go. 7.7. In my own mind capacity, I cannot say, okay, out of 7.7, these are the people I need to connect with. You can't do that. At some point, you've got to rely on something higher than your own mind, your own personality, and trust in that it will draw the people to you that are in line with your goal, with your life journey. And I'm going to say this. I'm not a big goal person. Okay. I'm not a big person. I'm on this earth to do this big thing. I believe I'm on this earth. The most important thing for me is to be on this earth. And before I leave here, I have been all of who I am. I don't want to be anybody else but me. I don't want to be on my deathbed, what have you, and feel like I wasn't myself. I feel like I lived some other life. I lived for other people. I was doing it for other people, other things. I want to die empty. I hear people say, I want to die with everything that was in me. I want it to be in the earth growing. And so I don't even know where I was going. Oh, my point was, so this idea of, of of having to get everybody on board, that is not your business. It's not even necessary. You want to focus on who you are, loving yourself, understanding that God, life loves you, is in line with you, and everything that's yours, that's connected to you, will be drawn to you. There's a scripture that says, and it's Jesus talking, but I honestly believe that the whole character of Jesus was to show us the example of who we are, all of us. And there was a scripture that says, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. If you, the truth of who you are, the God of who you are, is lifted up, the authentic person of Noel, the authentic person of Tamitra, if I lift that up, I will draw all men that is connected to me. I'll draw them to me. I don't have to try to figure it out. They'll come. If I lift it up, but I have to first know who I am and be okay with it. I'm good with who I am. And as I'm changing and evolving, it is all good. And I don't need anybody to verify that. I'm good. I love me, So anyway, that's that.
So good. You said so many things there. You've left me speechless, which is rare for me on these podcasts. The only thing that I want to just to drive home even further, just because I care about all of you guys out there listening so much, is the worthiness aspect that Tamitra, I've said Tracy, Tamitra.
It's okay. It's all my name.
Yeah, it's just a descriptor of a beautiful energy that you're sharing with all of us right now, which I so appreciate, and I know everybody else out there listening does as well. But just to go back to the worthiness thing, I just want to share with everybody, if any of us are worthy, then all of us are, because there's no special breed of us. There's no special breed of human out there.
That's right.
And, for all of you, whether you want to call this power that we're talking about, whether you want to call it God, the universe, source energy, all that is, whatever you want to call it, spirit.
Yes.
That when we're connected with it, that's who we truly are at all times. And sometimes we allow ourselves to feel that energy and to be that energy in the moment, because it can only be in the moment. You can only be God-like in the moment. You can only be loving in the moment. And when you are, you're not questioning, are you worthy? Because in the time you're questioning, are you worthy, then we're just not allowing ourselves to feel that connection. And the reason that I do what I do and share anything that I share on social media is, for one, I know tomorrow isn't promised, and it gives me peace knowing that. I thought I lost you there.
No, that's me. That's me.
I was gonna keep going anyways, and then you popped
keep
back.
going. Keep going.
When she logs back on, she logs back on. But it gives me peace knowing that, and I have two more things to share here. It gives me peace knowing that tomorrow's not promised, and everything that I've ever become aware of that has helped me and benefited me, that I knew when I was a little kid coming here, and we all knew when we were just joyful little beings that source, and then we may have forgotten over the years. But all of these things I'm sharing on purpose, because for one reason and one reason only, I love to see the light bulb click on for humanity, because we can't become unaware of any of these things. Once we become aware of it and we remember it, now it's a choice for us to be able to make, because none of us choose to do anything without first being aware of it to be. So that's why I do what I do. And the last thing is, for anybody out there, because I love how you mentioned it's not our responsibility to pull everybody in and to make sure it's all working for everybody. For anybody out there listening, the overall best way that we can help anyone or to bring anyone in is by our example. So just live it.
Yes. Yes.
You want to help people be happy, and you want to help people be healthy, and you'll inspire people to want to know, what is it that that maybe I don't, and then those
Yeah.
conversations can lead to them connecting dots with their life experiences, and that's the best teacher for all of us individually is life.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so
yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I think I unpacked everything. That every time you say anything, it inspires me so much. I could go in so many different directions, but last thing I'm gonna ask you, because you've been saying this, you've been describing it the whole episode. So I just want to make sure that there's nothing inside of you that you just want to share. But like I mentioned a second ago, what gives me peace is knowing that there's nothing inside of me that I have become aware of that's helped me that I haven't shared at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gives me so much peace. And I'll always do that as long as I'm here.
Yeah.
And I typically will ask people on these podcasts, is there just anything that you want to share with the audience that whenever they hear this, whether it's first released or 100 years from now, it can make an impact on their life. You've been doing it the whole time, so I'm just basically leaving it open to you if there's anything else that you want to share with the audience. But you've given so many amazing insights this whole time. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate this time. Look, anytime I could get with somebody and talk to them and they're feeling what I'm saying, it's like, oh, I could talk all day, because it's rare. Well, I won't say it's rare. It's not often that I have come across like-minded people and be able to have these conversations with. So I appreciate it. But I will say this. And let me just say for all your listeners, again, I'm not proselytizing, and I'm not trying to say when I mention Bible verses, but that's what I was brought up on. So I do a lot of references with biblical verses because they help me make really good points. But I want to share this. So there's this time where Jesus is talking to all his disciples. They're all they're all surrounded him, and they're just talking, and he's hearing the conversations about what people are saying about him, who he is, and some are saying that he's John the Baptist reincarnated, he's Isaiah, he's this, he's a prophet, he's that. Everybody has their opinions about who Jesus is. And then Jesus gets to one of his 12, Peter, and he turns to Peter and says, hey, well, who do you say that I am? What you got to say? Everybody else is saying what they have to say. What do you say? Who do you say that I am? And so Peter goes, well, you're the Son of the living God, boom, 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 bum, bum, bum. And so Jesus goes, okay, so flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. Only by spirit do you know that. And the reason why I wanted to share that is because now if you notice in that scripture, it's not said that Jesus corrected anybody about what they said that he was. He didn't say, that's not who I am. He didn't go to them and say, you're wrong. But that is their experience. Whatever they saw and from their perspective, that's what they thought of him. And he did not correct them. But when Peter spoke, it was amazing that he made sure that he told Peter, basically what he said was, the only reason why you didn't see me the way the other people see me is because you saw me by way of spirit. And spirit can only reveal those things of spirit, of the true nature of who I am. And so I wanted to share that particular illustration to you, because there are going to be people who have their own experiences with you, and that's going to be based on their own perspective from wherever they come from in life. If you could be the most beautiful soul and work on your spirit, but if they have had, for instance, a tumultuous upbringing, and you remind them of somebody, maybe a mom or a dad, and they may have struggles with you. That's not your business. All right, you work on you. You make sure that you're good. But that's what they believe that's to them. That's who you are. You might be a teacher, and Noel came earlier was like, okay, before we start this, tell me, what should I say you are? You know, how do you explain yourself? And I always have an issue with that, because I'm like, I'm so many things. I'm so many things, but I'm the essence of all of that. And so it's hard to be able to say that one thing that I am. And that's what I want to share with your listeners. You are the essence of everything that you are in the moment. You are that. And when you show up in the space of what that situation needs at the time. So whoever men say that you are, whoever you come across, when you show up as who you are in the potency of who you are in your authentic self, you show up for what that situation needs, what that person needs in that time. And if anybody is able to really gravitate really who you are, it's not because of anything, but because they can see by their spirit. They feel you by way of spirit. And a lot of times when people catch you and understand you, they really can't put words to it. And it's a beautiful thing when you can get with someone and they get you. And that takes a person that's already aware and evolved themselves, and they're connected, and they can be connected to you. And God will always allow those people to come into your life to just sort of give you that you're on the right track type thing. That's what Noel is to me on today. You're on the right track. But there's going to be times where you interact with different people. And I just want to encourage you. They're going to say a lot of things about you. Who do they say that you are is on them. That's their perspective. But if you're true to who you are, just constantly pouring into you, self-love, making sure, if anything, that you feel like, okay, I would love to be more aware and be more attentive in this area of my life. And you're doing that. You're just being about your business. I guarantee you that any place that you are led to, any person that you are led to, you will be potent enough to be all that you need in that situation for that time, for that moment. And then once you've done that, keep moving. Keep moving. It's not even your business to try to figure out what it is that you have to do. Just be you, and guarantee you everything is going to flow right. Just like me, and I'm just going to say this and I'm going to go. Just like me preparing for this interview, I'm like, I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know how the vibe is going to be, but I know that I did not make this happen. So if I didn't make this happen, and I feel good about it, when Noel reached out to me, I felt good about it. So that's me being led by my inner. I'm like, okay, I feel good about it. And so I trust that because I feel a peace, because I feel a knowing that I'm on track, then I'm gonna go forward, and I'm gonna trust that who I am for the moment will be what that moment needs. So whoever is listening, I'm sure you're gonna be blessed. I'm not saying that because I'm cocky. I'm just saying that if you're watching this, you're watching this because you were led to it, and it's what you need. And I can say that firmly because I'm being who I am. And then after that, I'm going to move on and do my thing. I might go laugh loud. I might, I don't know. I might do whoever, whatever. But I just wanted to encourage your listeners to just focus on you, be authentic. You are enough. Take the time to work on you. I think for the rest of your life, that is going to be necessary, to constantly be that balance, to be in that balance, to be in that peace, because that peace and that balance is where you get your instructions, that we get your leading, that we get your guidance. And not more important than leading and guiding, we don't always have to be led and guided to something we gotta do, some big thing we gotta do. It could just be led and guided to a good conversation, or led and guided to the book that you've always wanted to read, or led and guided to a club that plays the best music that you like. Oh my God, I didn't know they played this music, and you have a good time, just to be led and guided to the fullness of life. That's what I'm here for, to just sort of encourage, not to tell anybody to do anything, because I think we all instinctively know these things. we just sometimes need people to remind us and to help us to pull off all the covers that sort of keeps us, keep that light dim, just pull it off a little bit. But we instinctively know these things, and I'm just here to encourage, and I'm hoping that your listeners are encouraged by this podcast.
They for sure are, and especially the ones that anybody that's listened to this whole thing, which I'm pretty sure everybody listened all the way through because we've been flowing the whole time. I know they've been inspired and encouraged and uplifted, and these are just so much fun. These conversations for me.
Yeah.
I knew the vibe, and this is like Chamitra. I keep saying,
there you go.
Names popping in my mind at the same time. But just like she mentioned, this is the first time that we didn't even know each other existed, before, last week or something, which is awesome.
Right.
And, just like she mentioned, all I knew is that I'm going to bring, my energy to the conversation and, my vibe, and one that's, that's excited, that's adventurous, that's wondering where it's going to go, where it's going to lead to. And at the same time, the love that I'm bringing, wanting to impact the audience and whoever's listening.
Absolutely.
So from there, it really nothing else matters to me. I know that anything that I say, any thoughts that I receive is going to be from that connection, called God, called the universe. It's going to be exactly what needs to be said in the moment.
Absolutely.
And it's just all fun. Like, there's nothing else, no other thought that I really need to give other than that. It's the energy that we bring to life in the moment is all that really we can control, and all that really matters. From there, everything else is going to flow the way it needs to. So beautifully said. We're gonna leave it there. Beautiful, beautiful message. I really enjoy everything that you shared. And
thank you.
You guys definitely make sure that you follow Demetria on social media. Tracy Life Wellness. That's what it says?
That's it.
It'll all be here in the description, and I'm just excited, as I know the audience is now too, to see what you choose to create and see which direction you choose to flow your energy in, because one thing that we know for sure is that you're bringing that energy with you wherever you go, and that everything you've been saying this whole episode about being your authentic true self is awesome, and it makes it more fun to see what that looks like for you, like what now you're going to choose to do. And I'm so grateful for social media, so we can all follow along, and who knows what collaborations may spring for us in the future, and who knows where this life will go. But sending positive vibes to everybody out there listening. Definitely share this episode with anybody that popped into your mind that you feel this would uplift them. It's no coincidence that they popped in your mind, and you can definitely uplift and impact them. And I'm excited to keep having these awesome conversations with you guys. Definitely rate and review this podcast and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will talk with you all soon. Demetria, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, talk to you guys soon. Sending positive vibes whenever you're hearing this. And you guys have an amazing, amazing day.
Thanks.
Awesome. That was fun.